Hey guys, and welcome back to the New Tennis Era podcast. My name's Anthony Hirsch, and today I want to talk about some things that went down in the first week of the Rome event. We are currently midway through the tournament, being a 2-week Masters. I'm going to talk about Alcaraz's second match of the tournament against Laszlo Djere. And I also want to discuss a little bit about Arthur Fils taking on Tsitsipas, because I felt like that was a really interesting match the way that went down. I feel like Fils played at a very notable high level that I want to discuss. And Steph is always one of the big clay contenders. And then Alcaraz, I feel like that was a very important match potentially for Alcaraz's clay court season. So I don't want these two matches to go overlooked, and I want to look into both of them now. So talking about Alcaraz's win against Djere, I felt like it was a confidence-building win for Alcaraz. We certainly saw some great shot making from Alcaraz, but that's what you come to expect. Overall, I felt like his level was not as strong as against Dusan Lajovic. He's also coming up against a player that's pretty different than Lajovic and played with a very different style. Djere was playing very, very aggressively. But I feel like at the same time, Djere's most impressive shots were not point finishing shots or winners. Definitely hitting some impressive shots, but he was not able to finish the points as well as he would have wanted to. But I guess playing aggressive was his best strategy, and it was working for a lot of the first set, although partially that's because Alcaraz was not returning well. He was hitting a lot of unforced errors, and those were some things that were not really working for Carlos. So it was really a very scratchy set. I felt like from both players, it was an hour long. Carlos was 2 points away from losing it. That would have not been the first set that Alcaraz lost to Djere on clay in the last few years. Alcaraz was trying to avoid that from happening. And Carlos was able to scratch through it. And then the second set, Djere was just a little bit injured, hampered with his arm, so he was not able to compete at the same level, unfortunately. So we didn't really see the same level of shot making as we did in the first set. Although I will say I think Alcaraz's level improved, even though Djere couldn't perform at his best on his end. I felt like Alcaraz was kind of getting better and better, and I'll get into that. But Djere, some things he was doing well. He was redirecting his forehand extremely well throughout the match. But the thing I will say is that Djere, even though he was doing pretty well when he got the first serve in, he was just making 50% of first serves in. Alcaraz, on the other hand, served very well. He served over 70% of first serves in, and he was doing really well at winning service points. Like I said, it's a scratchy set. The winners to unforced errors ratio for both were very low. For Djere, for the match, it says the ATP website has him as hitting 10 winners and 36 unforced errors, which is just not going to be good enough against Alcaraz. But like I said, he did come close in the first set. So talking about key points in the match, first set, 5-5. This is the second break that Alcaraz gave away in the set. And Alcaraz, the key point here I want to talk about is at 15:30, where Djere's ball hits the net and then goes over the net. This actually created an advantageous position for Alcaraz to, it seemed like a good shot for him was to hit over the backhand, potentially down the line, hitting over it. Instead, he goes for this low percentage slice shot that he goes for cross court and he misses it wide. And I think that this was really a good example of where his mind was at for a lot of this first set. Djere was trying to play very aggressively, and Alcaraz was kind of falling into that same game style. He was overthinking. He was playing low percentage. It was almost like he was tempted into playing the way that Djere was playing, and he was going for shots he just absolutely didn't really need to go for, and making life hard for himself. Just kind of this like pleasing the crowd stuff, and falling into exciting cat and mouse rallies when he doesn't need to go for those kind of rallies. He misses this shot. And honestly, I feel like also that's why he struggles in some of these early round matches now. It's like with the crowd into it, he likes those big moments, but he needs to find a way to just keep things simple and just play smart and do the right thing, find the way to win, and almost be a bit more solid, like Novak-esque or like Yannick-esque sometimes when he needs it in these kind of matches. But yeah, he just plays a poor game of shots where he just doesn't need to hit shots like that. Also, a couple bad bounces off the baseline from Djere, and which causes some Alcaraz mishits, and then it causes a break at 6-5, which turns into a long deuce game in itself. Djere's close to winning the set, but this is the point in the match where Alcaraz started playing better. It took 2 breaks. We didn't see this in the Lajovic match. It was 6-3, 6-3, but here, a little bit tougher. And it took 2 breaks, but Alcaraz finally, I guess, snapped out of it and found a little bit of a more consistent level, rallying more with depth on his shots, particularly on his forehand, started controlling the court, hitting it to the Djere backhand, a lot of inside-out forehands to the Djere backhand, and Djere's backhand was absolutely exposed as not just being so much weaker than his forehand, but being by miles and miles the weakest shot on the court. His backhand was, his forehand held up and it was doing perfectly fine. Like I said, he was hitting the forehand really, really well, redirecting with the forehand really impressively throughout the set and taking his chances. But his backhand was breaking down almost every time that it was being hit to. And we saw that throughout the second set as well. When we got to that, to break, Alcaraz hit this amazing squash shot lob that turned the point in his favor. But I don't really want to put the focus on this shot. I want to put the focus on the fact that Alcaraz, you expect Alcaraz to hit spectacular shots. It's really more about the fact that Djere was able to stay in the rally and he was able to track down this backhand and turn the point back to neutral. But Alcaraz, the thing that really won him the point wasn't the squash shot. It was the fact that he was able to get it to the Djere backhand and just be pretty consistent with decent, neutral, patient shots to his backhand. And then Djere just hits this very central, short slice backhand out of nowhere, hitting backhand to backhand. He's not able to hit it aggressively. He's not able to hit it more of a slice, neutral, and he draws Carlos in. Carlos is more than happy to finish at the net. He went 75% at the net in the match. Carlos is very good at the net in general, I think. Great hands, and that was something that was working for him. And yeah, Alcaraz gets the break right then and there, just really getting some back-end errors from Djere, and Alcaraz also starting to return with more consistency as well. What was kind of also notable in this first set is that Djere and Alcaraz were winning about the same number of baseline points. So Djere doing pretty well as the points are elongated a little bit, but Djere suddenly starts rushing in this tiebreaker. He's trying to finish points off early, and like I said, he was playing aggressively, but he wasn't really trying to finish off points that way. He was just really hitting very big forehands or backhands very deep in the court and just kind of going for it. And Alcaraz really having to try to improvise with this onslaught that's coming at him, but he's able to do it. He comes up with some brilliant shot making. It's the squash shot passing shot. Also, Djere starts missing. Alcaraz is able to return better, especially off the backhand. That makes it so early on in points, he's able to hit it over the lower part of the net to the backhand of Djere across court, and it turns into a really tough thing for Djere, and his backhand stays exposed. And a lot of backhand missing from Djere. Alcaraz starting to return better. Levels higher. It's still scratchy, but Alcaraz finding a way through the set, especially ending the set with the 7-2 tiebreaker, is the kind of confidence win that is really important for Alcaraz here. And it's a stacked draw in Rome. There's a lot of big names still left in the round of 16. So Alcaraz is going to need wins like this to build his confidence. He definitely needs to play better moving forward. He needs to be more patient. needs to be more solid at times. I also think he needs to play the big points better from the start of the match. Like I said, getting broken twice, not have just some bad service games where he plays sloppy. He picks it up in later stages in the big moments for the most part. So I don't expect this to be a big thing. But I will say his back end return, I felt like was not there in the first set. So that's something to look out for as well. But yeah, overall, Alcaraz in the second set, I feel like he was able to return better from the start of the set. And Djere, like I said, he got injured, so he's not really there. Alcaraz able to come to the net with great success in the second set as well, and was able to finish off confidently. Alcaraz served really well, which is going to be a good thing for him moving forward, I would say. But those are some things I would say about Alcaraz versus Djere. But I think keep an eye on Alcaraz. Obviously, he's one of the favorites, if not the favorite, for the tournament. Always one of the contenders on a clay court, one of the title contenders on a clay court. So definitely watch out for Alcaraz moving forward. All right, now for Fils versus Tsitsipas, this is going to be much shorter than the regular analysis that I would give for a match generally, but I did want to mention it and just brush on it because I felt like this was a really good win for Fils, who definitely, he's beaten Steph, he's beaten Sasha in the past, but going down 6-2 in the first set, just endless backhand unforced errors from Fils. Tsitsipas was doing really well on both wings to get it to the back end of Fils, who was just dumping a lot of them into the net. But in the second set, things really picked up for Fils. He started hitting the winners to unforced errors count completely reversed. He was hitting so many winners. He played so aggressively. The Fils forehand was sensational, the way he was hitting through it. He really didn't give Steph a chance to get it to the back end when he made a forehand. He was running around the back end better also to make sure he was hitting forehands. And this really peaked at 4-4 at 30 all when he had an 158 kilometer an hour forehand clean winner return. And he broke there and then with just some absolutely massive forehand hitting. It was high level from both, but Fils started rallying better as well on the backhand side, and Steph's backhand started to break down. Fils actually hit some winners. He had a couple of passing shots. He just picked up the level, energy, the confidence. He said later he actually made himself angry in order to get some motivation and energy by the fact that Steph hit an overhead at him. But I like it. I like to see that kind of energy and being able to bring a crowd into it in tennis. I don't think that's a bad thing. And this level from Fils, so I think is underrated as being a flashy player and fun to watch. I think that that's only a good thing for tennis. And the third set, just an absolute onslaught from the Fils forehand, a break to love in the first game, including a clean return winner on the fourth point. All were either forehand winners from Fils or causing forced errors with his forehand. So basically what I'm getting at is that Fils is somebody to watch in this tournament if he keeps going at this kind of pace, because I thought he played an aggressive masterclass in the second and third sets. Honestly, great shot making. And his backhand turned up as well. At 3-1 in the third set, Fils hits this amazing backhand passing shot. It looked like he wasn't even going to get to it. And he hits this amazing cross-court shot as he's running the other way. He hits a huge backhand return to break. And when he did break, Steph's backhand starting to break down. He hits his classic backhand shank that goes into the last row in the crowd. Tsitsipas's backhand shank. And Fils gives a giant roar, which I'm sure didn't really sit well with Steph, but I like to see the energy in tennis. I don't think it helps. I don't think it hurts the game. Whatever helps the will to win, I like it. I don't think tennis should be a soft sport. It's one of the toughest out there, and it's only you out there. I think whatever helps the will to win, whatever brings the crowd in, I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. Steph, he saved 0 for 3 on break points. He won just 47% second serve points. He really didn't have a plan B. He kind of went away when Feast started this onslaught, although it was really tough to handle. I will say Feast won an amazing 70% of second serve points, and also went 6 for 6 at the net, and just doing just really, really well. Just playing so aggressive. In the first set, it was Steph who was playing aggressive. Like I said, even hitting winners off the backhand. And the 0 to 4 shot rallies in the first set were 18 for Tsitsipas, 9 for Feast. The second set, it was even. Third set, 20 for Feast, 11 for Steph. So just completely turned the match on its head. Like I said, an aggressive masterclass from Feast. So that's something I would say about him. All right. Yeah, shorter analysis on the Feast versus Tsitsipas match than I'd usually have for a match, but hopefully you enjoyed the analysis of that. And also Alcaraz versus Djere. And it'll be interesting to see how Alcaraz and Feast do for the rest of the tournament. But those were no doubt big wins for both of them, no matter what happens from here, and tough wins. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in for the analysis that I will have on the final. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys at the next one.